Welcome back to the Rouges Yanks. Bienvenue à la Rouges Yanks. We talk between Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we're going to be doing a recap on the 2022-2023 CONCACAF Nations League draw, which just took place and finished up. And I know before we do this, there are three leagues in this one. There's League A, League B, and League C. League C mainly consists of many of the small island nations that didn't get promoted to, such as other than Jamaica and a few others. But the small island nation teams that are not really big here are in Group C. Group B is just kind of the same way. A little bit of Central American teams in there that didn't make their way into League A, but nonetheless, they're still in Group B. But Group A is what we're gonna be talking about tonight and doing our complete 100% focus on. No offenses to Group B or C. So if you live in those areas, or if you have a country that's your favorite from there, apologies. But Group A, just for the sake of Canada and U.S. soccer, and Canada and U.S. are both in Group A, and so we're going to be going over both groups. And as I forgot to say for the World Cup video, I may be doing a later video talking about instead of just a combined Canada-U.S. video, I might just do a separate video for Canada-USA saying what each group means or what this group means for them for both World Cup and Nations League. So keep that in mind as we'll see how my workload pans out with school and university finishing up. But nonetheless, you should expect at least 4 more videos in that regard of be tailoring the groups towards the U.S. and Canada. But tonight's talk is all about, it's going to be combined U.S. Canada, just doing a complete rundown of all the groups in Group A. Once again, no offense to Group B or C, but Group A is our focus here tonight, as we've got quite a bit to talk about. I'll talk about, I guess, what I wanted to see, and I guess what can happen. So without further ado, here we go. We have Group A, and we have Mexico, Jamaica, and Suriname. Kind of a great test for Mexico here. I know a test, but hey, we don't know. I mean, things can happen in CONCACAF. We thought a test in 2019 would be the U.S., Canada, Cuba. I mean, maybe it was like, oh, U.S. getting out of it easy, right? 2 nations. Canada surprised, and look where they are now. So, nonetheless, Jamaica, when they have their English-based team, or the players from England, that are playing for Jamaica, I mean, they're really solid. Mikel Antonio, Bobby Reed, the list goes on for Jamaica. I mean, they've got some talented players once they get it all together, and maybe they can use the tournament as redemption for their abysmal World Cup qualifying campaign. Unfortunately, the Reggae Boys just couldn't get it done. But maybe 2026 they'll bounce back and we'll see them in the World Cup. Really would love to. And then Suriname, of course, from Mexico. As I said, it's kind of almost similar to Jamaica. They've got a lot of, instead of English, it's Dutch players, as Suriname has a lot of concentration down there. And just like Suriname gave Canada, a test. I mean, Canada won 4-0, but nonetheless, compared to other island teams like the U.S. Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, islands like those or teams like those, Suriname, I mean, neither of these teams, if I'm Mexico, I wouldn't sleep on them. I know, we're calling these games test, quote-unquote, games, but for Mexico, but you never know. I mean, Jamaica, if they bring their best players, this might be an interesting group. If Suriname brings their Dutch players, this might be an interesting group. So, this is a great group for Mexico. And I was honestly hoping for the United States and Canada to kind of get a little tested in the group, especially how they're kind of have to use these windows for FIFA, either it be friendlies, competition. They kind of have to use these games as prep and experience for the upcoming World Cup, as we want them to be getting the best challenges, the best test possible. That way they don't come into the World Cup, unexpected, or, they don't come, they don't play easy opponents all the way there, and they play hard opponents, or they're not ready for the World Cup, just like studying for a test, you study for the best you can, and then when the test has come, hopefully you're prepared. That's what we kind of hope here in this scenario for both Canada and Mexico. Canada, USA, and Mexico too. We're cheering for CONCACAF here, so we want to see CONCACAF do good in the World Cup, but nonetheless, Group A in Mexico, Jamaica, Suriname, and Nations League. Curious to see how Mexico does there. Mexico is either going to roll through all of them, or these are all going to be close games. So, Nonetheless, that's Group A. We move to Group B now. A tough group. Honestly, I kind of wish the U.S. was in this one compared to where they are in Group D, but we'll get to that. Group B is Costa Rica, Panama, and Martinique. Costa Rica, Panama, really are good. Two tough teams that's going to really go back and forth. And keep in mind, I forgot to mention, one spot goes on, so not two. The best team of the group goes on, which I don't know if you were familiar with that, but only one of these teams from each group can go on. Um, Panama, Martinique. Um, Martinique, they had a good Gold Cup experience. I think they scored on the USA. They got was it Fortune or Fortune? Um, I know they speak French down there, and yeah. So Fortune, he's a quality player, and he could probably. I mean, Martinique, if they can muster together some talent, maybe they can get join into the conversation. But for the sake of Group B, I honestly personally think it's just going to be Costa Rica and Panama. It's going to be all about those two battling out for who moves on. But nonetheless, all eyes will, of course, be on Costa Rica and Panama as they are rivals, of course. And it should be a fun game to watch. However, Martinique could be able to sneak in there and give a shocker. But nonetheless, just like this group reminds me a lot like how it was, and I think ironically the U.S. and Canada were in Group B in 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong. But two rivals, one team that was kind of kind of negligible. Um, so like kind of like Cuba and then Canada and USA are rivals. So this is exactly almost like a carbon copy with different teams. You got a rivalry and then you've got a negligible team. And so that's Group B. Fun group. Costa Rica, Panama is a key marquee matchup there. Group C. Now we've got Les Rouges with Canada, Honduras, which that'll be a good one, and Curacao, which Curacao is kind of like Suriname. They've got Dutch players, or they got a lot of Dutch-based players that can play. Eloy Room for the Columbus Crew is Curacao. Got their acronym or their adjective there. The person that comes from the country. He's from Curacao, nonetheless. So you can already expect him against a good goalkeeper there. Just like Andre Blake is in Jamaica with Group A. And so, nonetheless, Columbus Crew goalkeeper, we should see him called up. Eloy Room. Honduras got a lot of Houston Dynamo players, and as well as CF Montreal players. Really, really looking forward to see what they can muster up down there. I know they also had an abysmal World Cup qualifying campaign, and they'll probably be looking to bounce back and make a statement in Nations League. But nonetheless, all favorites here. Assuming Alphonso Davies will be back, Canada might. I don't know if they're going to muster their World Cup qualifying squad, the same squad they put together, or they're going to try and use this tournament to experiment with new pieces. If I'm Canada, I mean, I know that you're kind of looking for tests, right? As I just said, for the World Cup, now that you're qualified, every friendly or every international game matters as you're trying to test yourself and get ready for the best chances possible. But nonetheless, I mean, if Canada goes out with their normal squad, the only team that can probably give Canada a little trouble, depending on how they play, is Honduras. Once again, we have to see how Honduras musters up. And Curacao is kind of like the group I just covered with Costa Rica and Panama. Martinique, I mean, they could be that team that can sneak up on you, so you can't sleep on them either. But nonetheless, this group is kind of like Costa Rica, Panama. For the most part, all about Canada and Honduras. We'll see how Les Rouges feels out there, and I'll be covering Les Rouges there for Canada games for Honduras and Curacao. Keep in mind, also both games are home and away, so there will be equal opportunity on both sides. Canada will travel to Curacao and also host them, as well as they will travel to Honduras. San Pedro Sula, fun place there, but Canada broke the streak of it being the House of Horrors. Let's see what they can do here in the Nations League. Finally, we got Group D. We got the Yanks as the United States. Once again, a team I'll be covering. El Salvador and Grenada. Very, very easy group, I'm saying, for the USA. I mean, El Salvador had an abysmal World Cup qualifying campaign. Nonetheless, they'll be trying to bounce back, but probably not as much as Honduras or Jamaica. So, nonetheless, we'll see what El Salvador can muster. But Grenada, I mean, they had a a Gold Cup appearance last summer, but yeah, they were pretty good. I mean, they made some noise. I'm not gonna lie, they made some noise. I think they had a couple upsets, but if should the U.S. bring a quality team, which we have to see what Greg Berhalter does here, was what team is he gonna bring? He says, as tactical manager said, I was watching the stream for this. Shout out to him. He said, he made a good point. He said Greg Berhalter always talks about, well, we're gonna bring our best players, but then keep in mind his best players are not our best players. So, we dream, we come up with all these dreams, and we start getting excited when we hear the best players, but in reality, his best players are like Zardes, um, you know, domestic players that we're like, huh? So we'll see what Greg Balcher's true definition of the best players are here. And just like Canada, the United States is gonna have to try and. I mean, I wish they had a tougher group. Not gonna lie, I know a lot of people are like, you should be happy, right? Because the USA, this means they can probably cruise through Group D and on to the quarterfinals or into semifinals. I think they have semifinals, but yeah, I mean, nonetheless, it's like, I mean, as I said with Canada, they're trying. You want to get tested. Ideally, you want to get tested as you want to make sure you have enough experience for when it's time for Qatar. Especially in the United States, you're in a tough group. I mean, I know I said in the World Cup video that this is a manageable group. It is manageable, but nonetheless, it's not easy. No group is easy in the World Cup. I mean, they've got Iran. You've got probably Wales, Ukraine, or Scotland. Whoever wins that comes out of that, and then you've got England. So all top 21 teams in the world. Many people say that can be also an untalked group of death, which, I mean, hey, the United States, in that case, you need every experience that they get. So it's also going to be interesting to see what kind of friendlies them and Canada as well muster up, as they're both in tough groups. So they're going to have to try and play the best opponents they can. By the way, news broke out before the draw that Uruguay, oh my goodness, Uruguay, sorry if I put all you Uruguayans out there, Uruguay will schedule a friendly with Mexico and USA, I believe in June, or in the summer for sure. But I would like to. So that's one good South American opponent I'd like to see. That would test the United States. I believe the last time they played was in St. Louis, not too long ago. But the last opponent the USA played from South America, they gave them a test, was Peru, and it was 1-1. Uruguay also ended 1-1 as well. But yeah, nonetheless, Uruguay will get me back. Although I want to also see Argentina go through with their friendlies. I know there are rumors in the air about them playing Mexico and USA. Want to see Argentina play USA. I really want to see that matchup because, once again, as tactical manager said, he said that the USA, you want to play friendlies, that teams that will test you. You want to play possession ball heavy like Brazil and Argentina, or you want to play teams that are like low block that you have to break through. And you also just want to play that team that kind of has a mixed playing style. So you want to, between now and Qatar, you want to get those friendlies, look for those kind of different playing styles. Because as I said in the World Cup draw video, every team has a different playing style. So we're gonna be interested to see what the USA can do there, as well as Canada. What kind of friendlies both teams can muster up. Hopefully they're good, and we'll find out whether it pays off or not. But nonetheless, this is a draw, and as I said, USA, out of all the groups, arguably has the easiest. I mean, once again, we'll do a quick group rundown. Mexico, Jamaica, Suriname for Group A, Costa Rica, Panama, Martinique for Group B, Group C, Canada, Honduras, and Curacao, and finally Group D, United States, El Salvador, and Grenada. So USA really got the easiest group, and potentially, if they play their cards right, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but they could potentially cruise their way to a semifinal matchup with. I don't know who their opponent would play out, but either, assumingly, if they all come out on top, Canada, you can have a rematch for Nations League, Canada, you can have Mexico, or you can have Costa Rica. So we'll see who plays who. But if the USA and Mexico are on opposite brackets, then we can probably expect, depending on how Canada and USA play and what side of the bracket they're on, a potential U.S.-Mexico rematch for the Nations League, which that would be good. But as well as, Canada. I want to see Canada in there as well. So maybe Canada finds a way to a Nations League final and tries to get their trophy. So we'll find out. But that is your Nations League draw. It's very short compared to the World Cup draw. There's less teams. So I'm not going to stretch the video out any longer than it needs to be. But if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also, turn on post notifications. That way you know when the video is uploaded. You do that by hitting the bell icon. And tell your friends, CONCACAF Nation Leagues is coming right up, and the USA will be trying to defend this title.